New piece number 1 installed with factory hardware and even bent and calibrated to spec. Look at that contact. Yeah, look at that. Parallel matched. Yeah. Hi guys. Wear your gloves. Safety first. Look at that. Parallel to the seam. Our trusty Knipex made short work of getting this squared up. So this plane here, right on the windshield with a nice little bend off of this. And good gap here, so it's not going to go rubbing on that. All right. Even got, oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. See, it's the little things, guys. It's the little things. Part number 2 installed. Hood, I believe it's for the alarm system, but the hood openness status level sensor. This is what we were working with. Baffles all blown out, and the spring was hanging out in it. Exact same connector, exact same color wire, 2 years apart. So, easy fix. And it's wired up, and the connector, you can't see it, but it's tucked away down there. Little things. Number 3 installed, the rear passenger window switch. Nice action there. And I double checked it against the other door to make sure that I got the area, or the direction right. Still need to clean this up, but to fit in there nice and tight. The tabs have a good, lip on them, and this spring's in good shape. Also transferred over all of the junkyard panel clips, so I don't even have to go into my stash and get new ones. I get all reused ones. The blue ones are, it's a red one. Blue and blue are original. And I'm going to clean this up really well before I install it. Learned something interesting at the junkyard. So it was a down trim package with cloth interior, and it actually had a cloth, I should have taken a video of it, you might be able to see it if you go back, but it had a cloth insert that just was pressure fit onto this, just sitting up against it, and it was held in place by the handle somehow. But yeah, it was interesting, just funny little stuff. Okay, more goodies installed. Got the passenger mirror put on. This is another one I got from someone online, but got the mirror there. Got the original connector, the original trim. It's all nice and turt. One other thing off the list. And continuing the trend of using up parts that are lying around that I've acquired in the past couple weeks, fortunately the mat is here and in really good, or the insulation I should say is here and in really good shape. And I believe it was removed because there was mold at one point, but I went over this in the introduction video. It is so rare to have this rear piece here intact without rust and have all these original pieces. I'm missing the screws, but I do have the trim piece itself up there. But what I'm getting at is, again, really clean here. I don't want to get, it's still, like factory attached, so I don't want to peel it up. But I'm pretty confident that this floor is very solid. The carpet piece is just completely missing. However, I did manage to scrounge up this from the junkyard vehicle. It is pretty terrible, but it's there. So we have a matching carpet from a Discovery that's going in. Believe it or not, I already did clean this. I've actually cleaned it many times. It is quote-unquote clean, but it's very stained. The junkyard Land Rover had the seats completely missing from it, and I suspect that they had just been used, the owners of the junkyard Land Rover had just been using it basically as a truck bed. There's a lot of oil embedded into this, and when it was at the junkyard, as you guys may have seen, there were 8, 10, 12 wheels and tires in it, so it's very dirty, but I cleaned it as best as I could outside, and then once it's installed, I'm going to carpet clean it really well, which seems maybe kind of backwards, but yeah, so we're going to put that in. I also have the hardware for the seat, so what I'm going to do is, even though I'm still using the back for storage, I'm going to bolt the seats in and tip them forward, so at least they're not just rocking around. So, how does it look? It is tan carpet that matches, and I don't have a great vantage point here, so don't mind the journey, but I only found enough hardware to put one seat in. However, we now have carpet in, and we've got one seat semi-permanently installed. So, a little bit closer to looking like an actual vehicle. Open this back up. Tip it forward. Now, at least we have storage space without the seats being all cattywampus. So that is at least in a usable stored position. Again, don't have the hardware for the other side, but I'm just going to put everything else in the back. That stuff taken care of. Well, I was getting extremely annoyed by only having half the hardware that I needed, and I wanted to put both seats in fine and secured. So I dug around through the bolt stash. What I came up with was we have 8mm head M4 by 1.00 thread pitch, which is exactly the same as the back. So that's the one that I dug up. And if we pop this open, pop this open, pop this open, rotate forward. This is the original hardware. It's a 10mm head size, 8.8 grade, and it's 20mm long. These are only like 12, but they engage much sooner on the bottom. So what I did is I had 4 of the original bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the back, and then I did find a matching set of 4, but they're 8mm head and a little bit shorter. So it's in. They're going to get tipped forward again so I can store stuff in the back, but I'm going to do a little bit of leather conditioner on the far one. I did a tiny bit here. It needs a lot of it, but there we go. More stuff. Round out the carpet installation, which I don't think I actually got a view of the back of it here. There's definitely discoloration, but you know what? All tucked away and with the seats up, can barely tell. Doesn't even match. But got this trim piece here. The piece itself did come with it. The hardware did not. I pulled it out of my stash. I actually have this exact piece in my reserve just to hang on to when I finally install it in the Red Land Rover. But there is actually a little tube. It looks like it's just got a little bit of tension to it. There is a black piece of plastic that goes over this so that there's a flush edge, and it covers the hardware as well. But this tucks under here. That gap is good. This is pressed down flush against the seam really nicely, and then it comes just short of that. So besides that little, just very, very slim piece of plastic that fits in there, the back is all tidied up. All the trim, speakers, everything's where it needs to be. So I'm gonna put this stuff back in. Next thing actually is that came with it. Do you have the original tire mount? I did not have the hardware, but on the junkyard vehicle I did get all 6 bolts for that. So I have the spare tire. I also have, it's not rare, but it's actually kind of cool to have this. A lot of these didn't survive, but we got one, and we have an original size wheel. So once this is all completely finished, just because it's nice to, it moves really nicely without it. And back in this space, if I mounted it now, I'd have this big thing sticking out to probably around here. No, not that much. Probably around here, but I'm waiting till the last minute to put it on. Doing a quick run around and realized, oh shoot, well, on the passenger front door, there is no inner door seal. Doggone it, that sucks. Another piece I have to track down. Well, hang on. Let me go check my stash. Turns out some goober 3 years ago got way too many parts from a junkyard Discovery 1, including both the front, nope, it does go this way. Front and rear, actually a set of 4, more than 4 obviously, from 2 different vehicles. So that's pretty neat. Don't have to worry about that one. All right, you guys want some gratuitous action? I think I've got something for you. like that. So after blowing out the radiator and then over here blowing out the AC condenser, this is probably half of it. Of course, the other half of it got attached to, who's the dummy who rubbed oil all over the bumper and grill and then sprayed dust through it with compressed air? Yeah, that was me. It's me. I did it. But, where did I put my light? Where did I put my light? Oh, it's right here. Why didn't you guys say so? So, last chance to clean this out really well before the radiator goes in. I'm not going to fully mount it in. I'm just going to stick it in. I don't think it's going to get in the way of doing any engine work, but it will get it off of the floor and out of the way. I just gave it one more rinse down, and it is drying over there. Then I'm just going to pop her in there and let it sit for a little bit. Flushed it. I filled it up with water, and I let it sit out in the sun to look for wet spots. None came up, so the radiator seems to be radiating, or it should do it pretty well. And then I blew it out and blew out the AC condenser as well in front of it. Made a huge mess. And then I rinsed this out after blowing it out. It sits right in its pegs. It's sitting up straight. It is just resting in there. I'm not hooking anything up to it until the very end, but I don't think, even, if I'm doing work on the water pump, I've got enough room here. And if I don't want it there and I want to clear it out, just pop it straight out. But they're off the floor, not storing them anymore. They're in their home. But there you go. That's 2 parts that came from the trip to the west side, which I now have. We're quote unquote free and came with the vehicle and are original to it. This even has the body color identification tag with part number on it. This is obviously a Land Rover. I think this is the original one. It's missing half of a sticker, and then it's got the AC sticker. And I don't know what that would have been. But again, it was quote unquote free, and it is matched to this vehicle. So all good stuff. All right. Another itsy bitsy item here that is still not crazy important, but I did find one, and I'm very happy to have it. This piece of trim here, all it does is just, once this is secured in place, it closes the gap, creating more of an airtight seal. You can see the 2 on the side, one there and one there. They just help focus the air as it passes through the fans and the AC compressor to do the most efficient job of cooling. But just a random little thing I found in the junkyard car. No big deal, but I've got it now.